The Balance returned for a new season of meaningful conversation. Taking a close look at the development arena. First angle of introducing 3 new segments. Join the first segment, Chat On. And whenever the chat is on, please grab the opportunity. Join our second segment, Breaking the Glass. Finding out great people that have achieved great things. And we will find out how they break the glass. Of course, our final segment, Walk the Talk. Let's put the talk to actions. That's what it means. Where we will find out so many special things that have been put on social medias, that have been put into talks, but we will find out exactly where the works face. Walk the talk. The Balance Show is back again with exciting interface only on GRTS TV.
Good evening, everyone. Today we have a very interesting show for you on the Balance Show. It's called Walk the Talk. And today we have an important person in the building by the name Mr. Usman Jassi. He is the president of the University of the Gambia Students Union. The university is so very important for the country's progress. So therefore we believe that we should also bring the head of the student to talk about the things that they've been doing since they took into office. I would allow Baba Sise to roll the interview with Mr. Usman Jassi.
All right, thank you very much, Alassane. It's a pleasure. Like I said, this show is called Walk the Talk. And you mean, of course, you understand exactly what it means. Walk the talk. What you're saying, you have to do it. Put it on the ground. Now, thank you very much, Usman. It's a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you so much, Mr. Baba. I'm indeed very much happy to embrace this show.
Okay, this show, so many people ask a lot of questions about this show. What is this show all about? Now, let me tell you, this show is about bringing facts. Now, if you promise people that you're going to lead, you have to lead properly. And that's exactly what Usman have been promising, and I hope he's been leading properly too.
Let's see how the...
Exactly. So we'll go back to Alassane.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Usman Jassi. This is the first question. Transportation has been a burning issue in the University of the Gambia. Almost all politicians claim to have the antidote to this problem, but none has managed to deliver to expectation. What have your council done in order to remedy this problem?
Of course. Usman?
I think it was in Brikama where I made that promise that we know that transportation has been a long outstanding problem in the University of the Gambia, and that we will work with the university management to ensure that students are provided with transportation. I'm happy to report that for the first time the governing council has already allocated $3 million for buses to be purchased, and already the director of facilities has already made this announcement on the newspaper, and the contracting parties are required to provide and deliver the buses within 2 months.
Yeah, but see, if you... Most of the times, the politicians, you are a politician, of course, at the university level. But let me tell you, they're always kind of saying big amount. Yeah. But on the ground, actually, we find out that these things are not actually happening.
Well, that depends, but not in our case.
You made mention of an amount.
We are saying the money is already budgeted. Yes. And it's already given. The process now is for the buses to be delivered within 2 months. It's not that the procurement has not already started. Yeah. You know, when you are to make procurements, you understand procurement laws. You have to invite different parties and tenders and stuff like that.
Yeah, but how effective will this be? Because you're talking about how much money? How much money did you mention here?
Over $3 million.
Over $3 million. How many buses can you get from there?
Well, maybe 2.
2 buses, will that solve the entire part of the student? Because it's always important to cater for all than cater for some part and leave the other part, because that doesn't show good sign of leadership.
Very good, very good. You know, we have used 2 approaches. The first one is with the university admin, and there we have already succeeded because they will buy the buses. And the other one, we are pursuing it with outsiders whose name we are not going to disclose, but we are very much optimistic that before the end of our term in office, we are going to provide these buses. Remember, we are just 5 months in office.
Osman, what about in a case whereby your term ended and then you have not provided this bus? Maybe another person come in and say,
it will be
put a
provided.
claim.
It will be provided before the
Are
end of
you
our
giving
time.
a promise?
That's a promise, and
That's
we are
what
very much
politicians do. They
optimistic.
promise, but they never deliver.
That's as common as any ordinary thing.
Yeah.
It's not only politicians, even people on the ground. Whether you are in position, you are in authority.
You don't hope that this is just a lip service, trying to impress your people who voted for you.
Well, students of the University of the Gambia would know that we have made a numerous number of promises during the course of the election, and we have already started implementing those promises. Even today, if we tell students of the University of the Gambia we're going to provide 10 buses, they have a basis to believe, because we've made promises on other things that we have delivered, and those are material and substantive promises, and they've been delivered. So if we make another promise, then basically they will say, well, on the basis of the evidence that we have, what they have done in the past, there is a sense to believe that they will very well do what they are promising.
Should we say this is only based on talk? Because that's what this show is all about, walk the talk.
Yeah.
Are you walking the talk?
Very well.
All right, of course. So we will leave you to that. Now, you heard that $3 million is buses will be provided for you before his term end. He made that promise, and he will definitely come back here if he do not deliver. Thank you so much, Usman. It's a pleasure. That's what leadership is all about. But let's come to the next section. Alasan?
Yes, just a follow-up question. With regards to transportation, because you said in the next 2 months, so what about the period between those periods? Because obviously students will be needing transportation between that month and the previous, especially when you came into office. Between those months, between those durations, how long have you gone, or how far have you gone into helping students when it comes to transportation issues?
There were only 4 buses. 2 were functional, and the 2 were not. And right now, as I speak to you, all the 2s they were also maintenance. So right now we have 4 functional buses. You may very well say these buses are not as new as one would have expected or thought it to be, but they are usable, and students are using them. So right now, if you want to go on an outreach, you will obviously have a bus. Just right now, before I left the University of the Gambia, those that are to take part in the beauty pageant, they've been given a mini bus to transport them to their destination. So right now, if you talk about transportation, you will have it. Yesterday, we held the Congress. 2 buses, were stationed in different places to transport the students. So right now, any school that wants to embark on a community outreach to go outside the jurisdiction of the University of the Gambia, you will obviously have a bus. So we'll have to manage with that status quo, unless, when the ones that we're expecting to be delivered within 2 months, then we move from there.
Does it have to be always managing? Because that's what it's all about.
And
every
that's why
time.
we are bringing new ones.
Every time they said manage, but most of the times what's supposed to be delivered is always not delivered on time.
Yeah, that's common. It normally happens, but in our case,
But
before
you as a leader is expected to make changes. That's what new leaders are all about. They said when a new leader is coming, we expect this leader to do different, to make changes. But if you say that it's common, that means you are doing the same thing what people are doing, what other leaders are doing, and that's a failure, Osman.
No, I have a contradiction to that statement.
Yeah.
Just as you have said, management. When we pursued this matter with the university admin, it was the same thing that they told us, that we have to manage. We said, okay, we understand that there's a need to manage, because we have to do with what is available at the time. But we also need new ones, and that was why they are already purchasing the new ones. But yet, you cannot refuse to manage when that management is critical to the conducive learning environment of the students. Then it's like you are optimistic of having something, and you overlooked what you already have. That is even going to cause greater harm than good. So it was tactical and strategic that we put pressure on admin to maintenance these buses that we already have, whilst looking forward to having another new buses in next 2 months.
Perfect. Now, we will move to the next section. Thank you very much, Osman.
With regards to seats, we know that it is very disheartening that there are certain students still in this new era that would keep on standing when the lecture is on. And your council has promised to deliver seats for them to sit on, but we are yet to see any of those promises being fulfilled. What is the problem?
Chairs. Now, let me make this very clear. During your campaign, you've campaigned for this. This was one of your campaign promises.
Very well.
Yeah, but we're still in your tenure, and then we haven't seen Usman doing much move. Maybe you can tell us.
Yes, I would really feel that the question is not exhaustive in and of itself. That when you are already 5 months in office, and what is left for you in office is greater than what you have already served. So you can say we did not see it for the moment.
Yeah, but what
So-
have you started? Because it's about what have you done so far towards that problem. It's not about whether you have done it, but what have you done so far towards that problem?
And that's what we are saying. If you go to University of the Gambia right now, talk to the director of facilities, and he will tell you that they have done an auditing on all the available facilities in the University of the Gambia, those that are needed and those that that are not in good condition. And chairs have been something that many people have been talking about. And we pursue this matter with the management, and they are looking into it. And we did not only stop there, we also moved beyond the boundaries of the University of the Gambia. However, of course, each time you talk about the question of chairs recently, you are told that university students will be moving to Faraba very soon. And right now that we are using the hybrid system, some students are going online, some students are going on-site, so we don't normally have that congestion at the moment. But materially speaking, the expectation is by the end of this year, students will move to Faraba. And if they are not moved to Faraba, then chairs will be provided, whether we are in office or we are not in office, and that's why the directorate is working towards.
What if in a case that they do not provide the chairs?
Well, leadership is a continuation. You have started something. If you don't complete it, then the next set of leaders that are expected to inherit from you will obviously complete
Are
it.
you now telling us that you just want to start things, but you don't want to finish things? You want others to finish it for you?
Not actually. If you talk about transportation, we did not start it in the university. The 17th Executive Council talked about it. The 18th Executive Council talked about they did not succeed. We are talking about it, and now the application is. So it's as the same thing for the subject of chairs.
Do you make mention of purchasing it? Because when you say purchasing it, meaning they have make an order
Yes, that's what I mean.
of
It's not
extra
as,
chairs.
Yeah, no, for buses. I mean.
No, we are in the chairs. Probably you forgot that we've already buried that section.
No,
Because
I'm giving
for that
an
one,
example. I'm giving an example. Let me be understood in context.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, you are saying, are you making a promise, or you are suggesting or presupposing that you start something and you don't complete it? Then
Okay,
I'm
so-
telling you, when it comes to the question of buses,
Yeah.
it started with the 17th Executive Council. They made that promise. They pursued the matter. They did not succeed. The 18th Executive Council came, they did the same thing. And we came, the 19th Executive Council, we did not only force and put pressure on the governing council to allocate a sum of $3 million for the buses, but also, to put pressure on them to give that money to the Directorate of Facilities, and they are already purchasing it.
Yeah, but
and it's
what I
the same
want-
thing relates to the subject of chairs. We are making that pressure.
So you
and
want other council to come and...
Not really. The expectation is these chairs must be provided that students are to stay in the campus before they move to Faraba, that is in the next 2 semesters.
Okay.
But as I talk to you right now, we are having a hybrid system. Some students are undertaking their courses online, some students are doing it on-site. So right now, the question of chairs or chairs as a challenge to the conducive learning environment of students is not as problematic as it used to be in the past.
Yeah, but what I want to ask is, it's all about, most of the time it's always, when you ask Kection, they will be telling you that we are on the process.
Yes.
But that process is never finished, and most of the time you don't push to finish the process.
That I would consider
And then when I ask, you will say the next council will finish it.
I would consider
That's what you made, that's what you
I
said.
would consider that thought to be subjective. Process never finished. That is subjective. Every achievement, every material thing that is done started in a process.
Yes.
From one step to another.
But
So if you pursue that process and you very well want to infer that process never finishes, then that's subjective understanding.
But during your campaign, you made mention that that issue will be in the past. That's what you said, that you will solve it. The issue of chairs.
Don't you think you should be more careful whilst addressing this subject? Someone who is in office and the person is expected to serve for 12 months and he's already served only 5 months and he's doing some landmark achievements,
Yeah.
and he promises you that we're going to fulfill it. Even if we cannot fulfill it, the expectation is the necessary foundation will be built for the incoming council to peruse on it for the greater fulfillment of that promise.
Yeah.
Don't you think you ought to exercise care?
Of course. We'll put it to that. Osman has a great point on that point. Alassane.
Yes.
But what is important is we have to make sure that whatever is said is done. That's what this whole is all about. Walk the talk.
Thank you.
Now, let's go to the next question. Alassane?
Yeah, a follow-up question prior to that. I would want to ask you, what about the long-term plans? What if UTG is supposed to face the same problem at Faraba? Have you done any research or any survey to make sure that this problem of inadequate seats doesn't continue following us to Faraba campus?
You know, not really, because just 2 days ago, I was at Faraba with the Vice Chancellor and other members of the senior management and the British High Commissioner. And we had studied the facilities that are available very well, and they have gone very far. And we did not only stop at the question of asking the number of chairs that will be available, but asking the number of students that the University of the Gambia will be able to enroll and that will be able to accommodate. And the expectation is it will go up to 17,000 to 18,000 students, compared to only 6,000 students right now. And those 18,000 students, even if all of them were to be present at the same time, they will all have chairs. And it's also beyond having chairs only, but having the requisite facilities that are needed for them to undertake their academic education in an environment that is conducive.
Now, in a point where these issues arising again, and then students started complaining, saying that we are in fact in Farabas, the same problem is repeating. That's why Alassane made a very good point there. He said, have you done enough research to make sure that this problem is not repeated?
We've done enough research, and I'm not sure this problem is going to happen, because the construction is already given to a company. So if the company is able to build a university to accommodate 18,000 students, then basically as part of the terms and agreements and conditions of the contract, then they are expected to provide 18,000 chairs. So if that did not happen, then it is not only between us and the students, but it's between the students' union, the management, and the contracting party, and that has legal implications. So that means it is even going to go beyond what we have seen on the surface.
Now, that is, we'll put it to that. Of course, very good point, Usman, and I like that when leaders challenge the points and then bring the facts, which is very important. Alassane, let's come back to you. Any other question?
Another question. Universities, we do know that they are ranked according to the publications they've made. With regards to that, your council's research department have gone under heavy criticisms when it comes to the area of elevating UTG with research. What is the problem with your research department?
Okay, when he said the research department, I don't know whether he is referring to the Directorate of Research or is referring to the Ministry of Research under the Council.
Alassane, what are you referring to?
The Ministry. That is
for
the branch.
For the first time in the history of the University of the Gambia, the Research Ministry of the 19th Executive Council helped a student to publish his research paper. And this was a great achievement for the University of the Gambia by the name Usman Boy from School of Chemistry. He reached out to the council that he has done a very good work that should be published on an international journal. And the council facilitated all the expenditure that was required for that publication. And we did not only stop that. We launched consistent pressure on the Directorate of Research that universities are ranked on the basis of publication. And this is not to be done only by the admin or the academic staff, but the students as well. And they allocated some amount of money for students of the University of the Gambia.
How much is that?
Well,
how much money?
That's part of the greater $16 million that is allocated for research in the University of the Gambia. So, and we made that announcement. Any student in the University of the Gambia, if you are really into academics, you want to publish, write a research proposal, send it to the Ministry of Research under the 19th Executive Council, then we will take it to the Director of Research and it will be funded.
It will be funded.
Provided you are able to justify and defend your research proposal.
Somebody probably watching will be saying that is a talk. Because if I have a research, I send it to you, you will just be giving me so many times like, you know, bureaucratic system. Because bureaucracy is everywhere. And then, Usman, we have to agree to this. The point where students will now come to you and then you start giving them unnecessary forms where that will even make them give up or giving up to whatever course they want to go for. That happens. That do happen.
Well, not in my case right now.
Not in your system.
Yes.
I mean, if a student just come to you right now and said, I have a research document, I want to publish, there will be a sponsor for him.
Yes.
Now, the students are watching.
Al-Hassan, he's
So
a
you-
student
so
of UTG.
you don't
he must
have-
have read that dispatch. Ask him.
Yeah, you don't have to blame Usman if you don't share your research document. So Usman is definitely doing well. I agree with you on
And let
that.
me make that announcement to
Yeah.
all students of the University of the Gambia. If you are interested in research, develop a research proposal, submit it to the Research Ministry of the 19th Executive Council, and it will be funded.
It will be funded. Good news. Now, let's go to the next question, Alassane.
With regards to the medical students, we know that over the past years, they have been complaining series of times of being sidelined when it comes to UTG activities. To cite one, that is the Students' Week, they've complained that they are not being captured with regards to their timetable. So it doesn't favor them. It doesn't favor them to go to the Students' Week. What have you done in order to remedy this issue?
Yeah.
You know, yesterday we were at the Congress and something interesting happened. Most of the medical students complained that they are not involved in UTG activities because their academic calendar is designed in such a way at the time when UTG will be involved in embracing their social activities, then they are already on their professional exams or other academic related activities. And they also complain that they are not aware of some of the activities that that the UTG students are doing. And an interesting revelation was made by the Information and Communication Minister of the UTG SU, that he was supposed to be on all school pages, you know, but this, the medical school, they said he is not going to be on their page, you know, and that actually means you are depriving him of the opportunity to share relevant information with you. That is for the students of the University of the Gambia. So in relation to their academic calendar, the Vice President of the UTG SU was pursuing that issue with the Directorate of Students Affairs. So how we are able to synchronize and bring into conformity their academic calendar with that of the broader university calendar, so that when the UTG is taking part in social activities, medical students are also able to participate. But it must also be understood in context that their field of studies is completely different from, or is the only field of study that stands out. You know, that stands out. So it requires a lot of curriculum reviews, it requires a lot of work, you know, and this cannot only be done at the level of the UTG SU, it has to involve the Directorate of Students Affairs, the Senate, and academic, you know, other stuff related to that.
Yeah, but I want to bring you to that point, because what the students are complaining is that they're not getting access to what other students are getting, meaning the student weeks. And that is a complaint lodge. But you are saying, like, according to what you just said, it looks like there is no possibility. Yeah, because that's what you are saying.
There is a possibility. There's a possibility.
But you said that the academic system is different from others. They have to understand that.
Yeah.
Is that not what you are saying?
Yeah.
So meaning there is nothing that you can do about it.
No. There's something in fact, we are already doing something about it.
And what is it? That's exactly what we are asking.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The Vice President of the UTG SU, who is responsible for all academic affairs of the students of the UTG, is pursuing that matter with the Directorate of Students Affairs.
But do you think there is possibility that they get their demands?
There's a possibility.
There's a possibility.
And that's what I'm telling you.
But why do you bring the bots? Because when you bring the bots, now you are now saying what you are demanding, you can get it. That's exactly what you mean.
It's a combustion process. It's difficult. Remember, you are supposed to undertake your education, and it takes you for 7 years. And these other students, it's only 4 years. So your system must be reconstructed and deconstructed in order to suit the greater academic calendar of the UTG.
Don't you think that would be combustion? You said it. You said it's going to be combustion. You said it's going to be combustion. Don't you think the students have been unreasonable here? That means they're demanding something that they cannot get access to.
They are not unreasonable.
What is the essence of saying we want this when you cannot get it?
They will get it.
But you said it. You said it's combustion.
But you know, everywhere in all academic universities, curriculum review, deconstruction, reconstruction, and to bring it in conformity with other academic curriculums and calendars.
But Osman, this is going to take time. This is like the whole administration sitting down to make sure that they redesign their system.
Yes.
You know, that's not going to be 1 year.
That's what we are saying.
That's not going to be 1 year. So can we say this is a long-term project? This is a long-term something that probably your executive will not finish?
It could be. It's possible that we've started the process. We may not be able to finish it, but then the foundation will be there, and the pathway will be there for the next executive council. If we are able to finish it, mashallah. If we are not able to finish it, then when the next council comes in, it's not as if they are going to introduce something new. They only have to make follow-up to reach to the destination that is so desired.
Possible, not possible, combustion, these are all points that probably the students will be like, look, let's forget about this. Now let's come back to Alassane. Alassane, yes. Do you have any follow-up to that?
Yes, I was actually thinking, since it's very cumbersome, are you thinking of organizing a different event for them? Like, for instance, if it is Students' Week for the general students and their calendar doesn't match with the rest of the students, are you thinking of organizing a particular medical Students' Week for them in order to substitute for what they are missing out?
That is a brilliant suggestion coming from a student of the University of the Gambia to the 19th Executive Council.
He's on the walk the talk. Are you saying you were not thinking of this, Kekson?
No,
this brilliant idea?
We have never thought of it.
So you are taking it from us?
Yes,
you're going to pay for it. You're definitely going to pay for it. Now, is that a good suggestion, Osman?
It's a very good suggestion.
Do you think the medical students will accept
what I have to do at this level is to bring the matter to the notice of the executive, specifically the Ministry of Welfare. So then they will have to link the medical students, their Ministry of Welfare, and they see what they can do in that regard. Because these are all social activities that are coordinated by Ministry of Welfare.
All right. Now, Alassane, let's go to the next section.
Yes, and one more question for the medical students, because they are very special. They are very different, should I say. They have been complaining about not being captured in the UTG elections. Why? Because the GPA that has been required is something that they cannot get due to their tough grading system. What are you doing in order to remedy that?
Yeah, they made mention of that. And then I know you did not mention this in your campaign trailer.
I did.
You did? Mm-hmm. You did?
Yeah.
Probably, Alassane, how comes we did not get that fact from there? Is there?
Well, they said they would
so you mentioned it. Perfect. You mentioned that you're going to remedy. You're going to have a remedy for that.
Yes.
But Usman, let us be honest here.
Yeah.
Most of the time, politicians make sweet talks. But when they come in office, they tend to focus on areas that is their personal interest. Do you have any conflict of this?
Yes, I have objection to that.
Go ahead.
And it's an objection on a great proportion. In relation to their GPA,
yeah,
that is because they have a very strict marking scheme. Their performance compared to the performance of other students in other schools completely differ. A student at the School of Arts and Sciences and a student at the School of Business and Public Administration, his or her performance compared to the performance of a medical student, then you will realize a great difference. So what we have tried to do in that regard, we promise them that usually the reason why most of you don't participate in UTG elections, specifically to contest for positions, is because you cannot meet the GPA requirement, which is 3.0 for president and 2.5 for other ministerial positions. And usually, if you look at most of the medical students, their GPA is 2.2, 2.4, 2.7, 3.0, only few. So we said we're going to establish a constitutional review commission. And in the Constitutional Review Commission, you will have the opportunity to participate in the construction of that constitution. Then under electoral laws, you can very well make this suggestion. And yesterday at the Congress, there was a special presentation on the framework of the Constitutional Review Commission. And it is going to be all-inclusive. All students will be part of the Constitutional Review Commission. And if that happens, our position as a council will be to make this suggestion to those that will be involved in the constitutional review process. That under the electoral laws, let it be made so flexible in order to allow medical students with a GPA of 2.5, 2.0 to be able to participate in university elections.
Do you think this is possible?
It's very possible. Constitution are made by the people.
Yeah, what I mean possible, I'm not saying you cannot get access to the Constitution to make amendment, but what I'm saying is, do you think you will do it?
We are doing it.
You are doing it?
Yes.
And how are you doing it?
Ask the students of the UTG, tell them what happened in Banjul yesterday. They will tell you there was a Congress and there was a Constitutional Review Commission. The School of Medicine, their president, the School of Nursing, their president, they were both present at the Congress and their students were present. And this was something that we told them, that you said you need a GPA change in order to allow you to contest in UTG SU election. Here is an opportunity. Take part in the review process, bring it up as a position paper if you wish, then it will be included there.
Okay, that's a good one. I definitely like that point because it's like including your subjects to be part of when it comes to implementation or development or whatever it is. So thank you very much, Usman. I definitely appreciate that point. Alassane,
Yes.
I think he definitely passed that point.
Definitely.
Yeah, he did well. Now let's go back to you. Any other question?
What new initiatives have your council brought into office aside the promises that they've made before coming into office?
Yes, you've made so many promises during your campaign trailer. And then, in fact, I heard about you made mentioning of something, because there is another question that I would definitely raise here. Okay. Now, but what other new things are we looking at? Things that you can bring in and it will definitely help the students.
Some 2 weeks ago, we've inaugurated the UTG Career Counseling and Guidance Center, which has never happened in the University of the Gambia. Mm-hmm. And throughout my campaign, all the students will witness that I have been talking about that we don't only need a career guidance counseling center, but we also need a center that is going to provide assistance to students, student support center. So when we were elected, this was one of the things that we pursued with the management. And interestingly, the management was committed in this course. They were committed in this course, and we had the assistance of almost all the stakeholders in the University of the Gambia. And today, we are talking about the first ever UTG Career Counseling and Guidance Center. You will know that since you came to the university, you've never heard about that.
Yeah, but Usman, I think we will leave it to that, because this Walk the Talk is a continuous process, because there are so many things that you've made mention that we will definitely come back to. All right, thank you very much, viewers, for watching. This is Walk the Talk. I'm your presenter, Baba Sise and Alassane Dramé. Thank you. The Balance returned for a new season of meaningful conversation, taking a close look at the development arena. Fresh angle of introducing 3 new segments. Join the 4th segment, Chat On, and whenever the chat is on, please grab the opportunity. Join our 2nd segment, Breaking the Glass. Finding out great people that have achieved great things, and we will find out how they break the glass. Of course, our final segment, Walk the Talk. Let's put the talk to actions. That's what it means, where we will find out so many special things that have been put on social medias, that have been put into talks, but we will find out exactly where the works face. Walk the Talk. The Balance Show is back again with exciting interface only on GRTS TV.